138 aftershocks have already occurred. Are Venezuelans still facing the threat of more aftershocks? And if so, what should they do to stay safe right now?
The aftershocks will be continuing for years on an earthquake of this size. If you say 138, that's only the very largest of them. There are many more smaller that are happening. And damaging aftershocks coming later are also pretty common. So it just has to be kept in mind. You can't compromise and, I've got to get back in. You've got to recognize that the capacity for more damage is coming. Also, this earthquake was not in Caracas. It was to the west. The way the rupture propagated, it would have focused some energy to Caracas, but you could now have an aftershock at the eastern end of the fault that would actually be in Caracas and potentially do even more damage. So it's a very dangerous time for the next while.
How rare is it for two major earthquakes to strike right next to one another within less than a minute?
It's actually part of a continuum. Most of these really big earthquakes, we would say, have sub-events, so that you would be actually seeing, the rupture starts at one place and ruptures down the fault, releasing a lot of energy here, and then a bit of a break, and then more energy here. And close enough together, we call it one earthquake. There's enough of a delay in here, probably 10 or 20 seconds between the end of the first one and the beginning of the second one, so they decided to call them two earthquakes. But this is just a continuum of how these things happen.
So there's this thing called an earthquake gate, and a recent study says that the earthquake gate stopping a disastrous earthquake along the San Andreas Fault in Central California is under its highest stress in 1,000 years. Now, you sent us a computer model video that illustrates how quickly and severely the Los Angeles area could be impacted if a major earthquake happens there. The graph on the left, for those watching, shows the strength of a possible quake slowly felt in LA's metro area. How concerned are you, Dr. Jones, that this could actually happen or that it definitively will?
This earthquake is inevitable. Just give us enough time. The problem is we don't know when. So we've tried to focus on telling people what will happen. And what you're seeing here is a computer model of where we expect the shaking to be. And this is a situation really very similar to what just happened to Caracas, that the fault is a bit away from the city, but then you get a focusing of energy towards where the high population density is. And something like this is absolutely inevitable in the San Andreas, but that's on geologic time. It might be 100 years from now. It might be today. And that's the hard part to plan for. But we will have similar situations. I mean, we have worked hard on strong building codes, but building codes aren't retroactive. And we have lots of older buildings that we know are very dangerous, especially in the area nearer the fault in what's called the Inland Empire, San Bernardino Riverside. Many of those buildings are older, have not been retrofitted, and have potential for plenty of collapse.
On Venezuela, beyond the fact that these earthquakes were 7.2 magnitude and higher, what other factors do you think are contributing to the extreme devastation we're seeing across the country?
The proximity of people. So when these big fault boundary earthquakes happen, they happen over a surface and the energy travels out and dies off with distance. So if the people are very near where the fault is, you're going to have a lot more damage. And with Venezuela, with the population concentrated along the coast, they're concentrated along this fault. I'm not sure where all the information is coming from so far. I have only seen reports from Caracas, and yet it's the communities to the west that have received much stronger shaking. And it may be in such bad shape they haven't been able to communicate out. So I would really expect that we're going to see a lot more damage coming in as we get into the areas that are literally on top of the earthquake.
One of hundreds of thousands of moments just like it. Two earthquakes, 39 seconds apart. The most powerful Venezuela has seen in more than a century, striking on a public holiday evening across several states. A friend in Caracas sent me this voice message. Cleveland Cartaya had made it out, but I was still waiting to hear from several others.
Uno va corriendo y te caes, pega de las paredes y tratando de salir rápido del edificio. Piensas que te vas a morir.
Families outside, on the streets, in squares, just too frightened to go back inside. On social media, images only now coming online. Luis Reyes and the elderly woman he cares for doing what thousands across Caracas did on Thursday. They slept on the street.
Mucha gente está en las calles, en las plazas, debajo de los puentes. Hay mucha gente sin casa, hay mucha gente que se quedó sin nada. De verdad, esto está horrible, horrible.
By daybreak, the damage is clear to see. This footage aired on state TV shows the utter devastation. And for the millions who fled violence and a crumbling economy in Venezuela in recent years, the night brought its own particular torment. Communications severed across the capital. The airport, as you can see, effectively destroyed. It falls to the acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, to lead the response, a government still finding its footing after Nicolas Maduro's capture by the United States in January, now facing the worst natural disaster in Venezuela in over a century. Her government announcing a $200 million emergency fund, the death toll already in the hundreds and rising.
We have ordered, by instructions from the President, the cutoff so that everyone is aware of the direct gas service to buildings. Because we have some damaged structures, we do not want any kind of accident with the gas to occur.
Venezuela has already lived through political rupture, economic collapse, and the loss of millions of its people to emigration. For a country that already given so much, now this.
I'm still in shock, to tell you the truth. We are just coming out of the 18th hour after coming into the 24th hour from the event, and I still have flashbacks. I was with my 6-year-old and my wife on a 10th floor rooftop in the Altamira area, and everything started moving. I was able to grab a hold of them and go to a corner, generate the safety triangle, but everyone else not having the education, the expertise in the area, it was just chaos. Screaming, yelling, crying, kids running around, mothers trying to get a hold of them, elderly people just trying to stay on the ground and not falling down. And it was complete chaos, really.
You ventured out, you've seen more of the devastation. Give us a sense of how bad the destruction is, and what are you hearing from the area west of Caracas?
Yes, it's been just a very difficult situation to see the faces of the affected people, and having lost everything or just being in a state of complete shock after the situation, the experience is heartbreaking, and also a call to action that is overwhelming.
Beyond additional search and rescue teams, what sort of resources are most needed right now in Venezuela?
Yes, of course. Well, in these situations, basic services usually collapse. So we are now facing difficulties for most of the affected areas to have access to safe water, to food security. Just yesterday, as I was moving through the city, I was seeing supermarkets with huge lines trying to get in and stock up for the days to come, as the aftershocks are just part of this process, right? And we've been living them just since the big hit. We've had over 20 aftershocks or replicates. Yeah.
I know search and rescue is the priority right now, but looking ahead, how difficult do you think it is going to be to rebuild that which has fallen? What will it take?
Well, right now it's a bit tough to put your mind into that stage, as you mentioned, Jake, because really the lives that are at stake need to be answer to. We need to focus on having them attend and bring them into a safe space. But the aftermath, everything that is already happening with the psychological situation of the population, the food supply chain, and the access to an basic and life saving resource such as water, safe water, is going to be very difficult to solve, to really respond to all the needs that the population has. And it's part of what we're doing. We're focusing on WASH, bringing activities of WASH, and having affected families improve their access to safe water and to hygiene services.